This is the Arthur Moats Show.
Welcome back, and I'm your host, Arthur Moats, and we are at Total Sports Enterprises, Pittsburgh's exclusive supplier in signed memorabilia. And today, we have to talk about who is going to be the Steelers' number 2 wide receiver once the season starts. Now, personally, I think it's a 2-horse race right now in between Donte Moncrief and James Washington. Now, both of those receivers had really good spring practices. They both drew praise from not only the coaching staff, but more importantly, Big Ben. Now, when we talk about Donte Moncrief has been in the league for a while now. He's played with some good quarterbacks in terms of Andrew Luck, but then he's also played with some not so good quarterbacks in terms of his situation down in Jacksonville last year. He's also a guy who's proven to be a deep threat. I also like the fact that when you listen to what Big Ben said about him during the OTA/minicamp time frame, was that number one, he picked up the playbook really fast. He was understanding all the checks and audibles, and ultimately looked extremely comfortable in the offense. Those are all things that I love when I think of a receiver that's new to the team, potentially stepping into that number 2 role. Now, let's talk about James Washington. We know what he's capable of. Coming out of Oklahoma State, was a beast. He didn't have the year that we all thought he would have in year 1, but the things that I do like about him is this. He showed a lot of improvement during OTAs. Like I said, not only did the coaching staff take notice to that, but Big Ben did as well, talking about his body size and how he looked in better conditioning, and also he looked a lot more comfortable in the offense. Reports are coming out that he dropped 15 pounds compared to his playing weight last year to now, which is also helping him in terms of being faster, being more fluid in his route running, and ultimately, like I said, the knowledge and the comfort that he was showing in the offense during the OTAs and minicamp session definitely bodes well for him. Now, when we talk about both of these players and what they could potentially bring to the offense, with Donte, you have that experience. You have somebody who's been in big games before, who's played with a good quarterback before. But for him, this is going to be the best quarterback he's ever had in Big Ben. So I definitely think that he has a ton of promise. When we talk about James, historically, wide receivers going into year 2 always perform better because now they've had a full year to not only mentally adapt to the game, but physically adapt to the game. They're able to show that growth and development in terms of their route running, in terms of getting off of press releases and stuff like that. And those are all the things that were being spoken of when we talk about James Washington. And like I said, the fact that he dropped 15 pounds, it shows that he's taking his body and conditioning a lot more seriously, which typically happens, once you play in this league a little while. So I definitely like that. As of right now, I do think it's a tie between Donte Moncrief and James Washington, just because during the OTA and minicamp period, it's hard to pick a true clear-cut leader because there are no pads. He's not getting his hands hit on. He's not getting his body hit on and things like that are associated with putting pads on. We'll see how their blocking looks when we put the pads on come training camp and also in the preseason. But I do think one of those guys will emerge, and I think that's only going to benefit the team. Now, who do I think is going to be that number 2 receiver? I personally think it's going to be James Washington, and here's why. I love his upside. When you talk about a big athletic specimen, that's what James is. And you know how historically the Steelers love big, fast receivers. You think about a Martavis Bryant. You think about a Sammy Coates. These are all bigger body receivers who can fly. And that's what James can do. But I think he has a little more athleticism than both of those guys and can potentially be a little more short-handed than them as well. So I love that about them. And I feel like with Donte, just because he's been in the league a little longer, we kind of know what player he is. Granted, we haven't seen him with the quarterback of Ben's caliber, but we pretty much have an idea of what he's capable of doing. But I'm excited to see how it goes. I want to know more so, though, who do you think will be the Steelers' number 2 receiver when the season starts? Donte Moncrief, James Washington, or are you pulling for the rookie, Diontae Johnson? It's a lot of options, baby. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you tuning in. And until next time, peace.